Hello everyone, it's Lindsay from the Vintage Button. I junk journal and I slow stitch, and I do that as sustainably as possible. And this is my Witchy purse. So it started off, if you didn't see, there is a part one, but it started off as a little purse like that I chopped in half and then I sort of extended it. And this is one side, mostly decorated. And then if I flip it over, I've added some more bits. Now these bits are bits from an old top. I can reach for it. This is the old top that's got these flowers on. So I kind of fussy cut the flowers out. I just kind of took a patch of the ordinary velvet out. I've got two sort of dirt patches that are big enough that I think I'm going to put some writing on. Yeah. I've got to think of two sort of, I want a magical saying. It might just be like kind of make your own magic and then something else about magic on the other side. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what inspiration throws at me. So this side, instead of the trim that I've put there, I've kind of taken some, it's an old scarf that I used actually on the little mini witchy hat, which I will reach for again, which is this. And this is the scarf that's around there, and that's actually on the large witch hat, but because of where I've got my camera, I'm not going to show you that now. And the large one is finished because I've just been sat stitching it. I will show you that when we do sort of a show and tell on this. I'll do a show and tell on all of them. So yeah, so it's this bit of scarf that I've just sort of roughly cut it and let it be frayed, and then I'm going to sort of sew it along and kind of just tack it down really so it still has that ruffled appearance. Then we've got a fussy cut of one of the embroidered elements off the top. This is netting that you get when you buy vegetables, well, in this country anyway, in the UK. So this is a red onion netting bag that I've just sort of torn up, and it's just given it such beautiful texture. So this is it when I've just pinned it in, and then if we go back on the other side, you can see when it's stitched in, there's just a little bit from the new bit over the top. I just need to add a few stitches. I kind of went around this outside bit with a blanket stitch to hold it all together. I wanted all the seams on the outside. I wanted it to look a little bit raggedy, like it's been around for a long time. I really like the buttons. The buttons have come from my vintage button collection, of which I have many, and I'll be adding some more brass buttons. And I may add a couple of, like, I've got some brass curtain hooks. I may add a curtain hook on each side. I'm not sure, because then I could put, I've got some sort of more trim that's like pom-pom trim, and I thought I could make like a little handle so that it could be used to go out on a night out. I don't really go out on night outs. We'll go to the theatre. I could take it to the theatre. We're going on it actually, even though it's a bit witchy, we are going somewhere for a Christmas dinner, so I could have it then. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be an occasion for me to use it. If not, it'll just hang beautifully in my craft room and I'll be able to switch it over. So we've got some French knots. I could do some other types of stitches, but we'll see. So anyway, this is what we're going to work on today. I thought I would actually do some stitching because I know sometimes I do a lot of planning and I don't do much stitching in these videos. And I was like, well, you could tell me if it's a bit boring. I don't know. I don't know what I think about it, if it is boring or not. I guess it's not. I do watch people do stitching. I've already started doing a little bit, so I've gone around here and I've used a back stitch. You could just use a running stitch, but I just thought the back stitch would be better. But now we've got to this bit, I'm just going to do a whip stitch to put this element on and just to make it all blend in. Now I'm not using a black. I'm actually using, it's like a brown colour. I'll get you the, I've got 2 of these, and they came from one of my vintage hauls. I got a cabinet, and they were inside of a cabinet, like a little, it's almost like a trolley. I think I might bring it back into the craft room actually, and have it as a sort of craft caddy. I'm thinking about that. So we're going to use it because it should be used. So there we go now, very carefully, without stabbing yourself, which is tricky when you've got lots of pins in. I'm just going to start stitching and just do a whip stitch. So my slow stitches, I don't really do lots of complicated stitches, to be honest. The most complicated stitch I would do is a French knot, really. A lot of it is just like a simple whip stitch, blanket stitch I've used, a running stitch and a back stitch. Not really anything complicated, because that's not what it's about. It's about me time. And normally my slow stitching time is sat on a comfy chair. I've got a comfy chair in here that is currently still full of junk that needs to be processed and find its place. But we can do that. I'm doing things slowly because I kind of fell down energy well, and I'm still building my way out of that. And there's been a couple of things recently that I thought I was getting better, and then I have like a pain condition as well, and the pain came back last night actually. So it makes me just want to not be going hell for leather, just sort of take little steps back, particularly when it comes to sort of like lifting and moving things, and I have enough space on my desk. And it's very nearly there, and I actually can't wait until it's finished. I kind of want to. I wanted to sort of like put some Halloween decorations up and have it a bit Halloweeny. But I think I'm not. I'm going to decorate it for Christmas though. I've got lots of fairy lights. Make it really nice inside. And then do a little tour, I think that's the way. And I've got something I want to make actually for a Christmas tree in here. But yeah. So I think I wanted to do it. I was talking actually to my family the other day about like Halloween, where we're going to put. We haven't really decorated for Halloween because we don't have little children anymore. So we've still got like a big trunk of stuff downstairs in my dining room actually. So I was talking about that, but I was also talking about like a project I want to do. And it is a project that I am going to do. It's another junk journal. So I have a junk journal planned for November that's going to be a just junk journal. But I want to start a journal kind of on Halloween, because I was reading about Halloween and the origins of it. And actually, it's more about New Year than anything else. So I know it's kind of got this liminal space kind of feeling to it, and then the like Christian Festival of All Souls Day where you pray for the dead and stuff like that, which I don't know, is probably not a thing in more modern Christian tradition, but you know, like certainly for older churches it is. And I don't. Bit of a vulnerability thing here. I don't have a faith. I used to, but I don't anymore. And I don't need any advice on that. So, yeah. And I was just sort of doing a compare and contrast, really, particularly for All Saints and also All Souls Day. And this notion of a new beginning, actually in autumn, and sort of planting seeds of hope had been resonating with me. And because I don't have a spirituality, but I do like ritual, so I thought, well, I'm going to make my own rituals, and one of them is this book. And it's going to be a book that is for me. I've been joking that I'm sort of entering my crone era, but I actually think, yeah, I am entering a third space in my life, the sort of that, you know, I've been a daughter, I am a mother, I will continue to be a mother, and I will continue to be a daughter, hopefully for a long, long while. But I also, there's this other space, this middle age thing that's different. I don't know, I think it might be the onset of menopause. Makes you a bit wistful about things. And so my book is going to actually be a journal where I write in. I don't know how much I'm going to write in, and I don't know how much sense it would make to somebody who wrote in it, but I know it'll make sense to me. So that's a journal I need to start before the end of the month, which I have a few ideas, and one of them is actually, it would not take me very long. I've got like a really old Victorian cigarette card journal thing that I think that is going to become it. And it'll be a journal that I have a few of them on the go, where every so often, hopefully every month, I do a bit of a reflection and I make something in it. So that's like me doing slow stitch talking about junk journaling. I'm sure I do it the other way round. So yeah, normally I'm not talking. Like I said, I'm sat in a comfy chair. I either have something interesting on, like a podcast or something on in the background, or I may have something really mellow, like an old film or something that I almost don't need to watch. I know exactly what's going to happen. So Jane Austen, something like that. That would be really. Or a documentary. I like Lucy Worsley documentaries on the Beeb. And some of them I've watched them before, but I'll watch them again. Just mellow. And sometimes it's just me and the stitches. I love the sort of tactile nature of slow stitch and how calm it is, and just the repetitiveness. I think I've said this before, that like it soothes your nervous system, just like doing something that's repetitive. It's also quite nostalgic, I think. So it's kind of, we've got a bit of a storm Benjamin, rolling over us, but I don't think it's been too bad. It's been a bit windy and rainy. But I was supposed to be in my office location today, but because I was in pain, it's been better today. Last night was quite bad. I stayed at home. I still worked, but I just stayed at home. Oh, I can see a needle that I've just stuck in there. Sometimes I do that. Stick a needle in. There we go. I think we'll empty this and then we'll do some French knots. Although I don't know, I quite like the idea of finishing that bit off. Could do French knots on another video. Or I might just kind of try to get ahead and get it done. There's also, so slow stitch wise, I'm just pulling in a little bit of there was a loop there and I'm just pulling it in so it's all tight. I want to do some wearables. So there's a dungaree dress that I want to lengthen. It's actually a black dress. I don't wear much black really, but yeah, I wanna do that. It's a good autumn winter dress, and I just feel it's a little bit too short now. It's quite an old dress. I got it when like Lil was a baby. Not a baby, but like a toddler, certainly. But it's still going strong. And I reckon a Wigan word, a Northern English word, I think I can fettle it. And sort of fix it up a little bit and put a bit of length to it. I'm going to just stitch through like that, I think. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so I'm going to fettle it, make it longer. And then I have I have this jumper that I absolutely love, and it's a really nice one. It's a posh one. It was from Bowden, and I paid like £100 for it. Again, it's ancient, and it's got holes in it. I still wear it. It's got a hole in the wrist, and it's got a hole kind of on the yoke. And I thought I could do some lovely visible mending with that. So it needs like to be debobbled, because it's not been bobbled for a while. Take the bobbles off, and then yeah, I'm going to do some visible mending. And it's silver and grey and black. It's got a Fair Isle pattern on it, and I think I could do some stars. I think they could do some really, like, I was feeling like putting some of this velvet into it. I need to sort of finish this off. I want the knot. Where do we want the knot? We're not going to get a knot, I don't think. Let's just sew it back in that way, and then if we sew it forward, I'll go over it somehow. It will all work out. It's going to get lined. That'll be fine. It's not going to come undone, she says, and then she realises that I went over. Let's see, can I catch that? This is a reason why I don't think I do much stitching on camera. Oh, that's got it. Has that got it? Yeah, it has. It is a reason, because I'm not focusing on what I'm doing. But I like that. I've just done some little back stitches and you can hardly tell, and there's going to be ruffle, and I think I'll do some more along here so that it has this ruffle to it. It'll just sort of gently disintegrate, which is kind of what I want. Right, I think now I want to sew this on. So I'm going to go with this. What time are we on? 17 minutes. So you'll have to let me know, because this is not a sort of plan it out and think about it. This is just literally stitching. You have to let me know, is this something that you want to do? If you've got this far, well done. Give me a thumbs up and a comment. So let's start here and work our way around. Yeah, so I can hear the wind, and the rugby team's out doing their practicing, and I can hear them shouting in the wind. I don't know how much you can play rugby when it's really windy, but they're giving it a good go. I might have to put a few more stitches onto this. It is attached. I'll have to see how I want it to be. I do like when you can take utter rubbish, you know, like literal trash. There's not a lot you can do with that plastic stuff, and it's actually quite horrible for the environment. You've got like microplastic issues and the wildlife, you know, so you kind of have to cut it up, but cutting it up's not good. I shouldn't really buy it. But buying vegetables is not... I wish I had time. I think this is always like retirement time. I wish I had time where we could go to a veg market and buy, but they're always on when I'm working. So yeah, so I sort of have to try and be pragmatic. When it comes to sort of buying things, because Aldi doesn't do loose. No, my Aldi doesn't do like loose stuff. Everything's like in packaging. I am not sewing this together. I can feel that I'm not sewing it together. But you do have to be careful of that. I just don't think I would get my finger in. Rafnami continues. So the room, it does need, I've got a few boxes I want to sort out, and it does need a sort of well, just a tidy really. The main bulk of it's done. I've got some hooks that I have put behind the door, so a lot of what's behind the door, if you've seen my messy craft room tour, a lot of what's behind my door is like packaging and stuff. So I am going to condense it and try and hang a lot of it behind the door. And there will be still things, I think, on the floor, but it's just sort of going to be a little bit more ordered. And then I've got hooks as well. See, now I have done that. How have I managed that? This is definitely not do as I do. That's alright. Sort of stitching. It's definitely a do as I say. Just want to get stabbed. But yeah, so I've got the hooks, and I'm going to put some, like, I've got like loads of big clear plastic bags that I've just saved from packaging from various things, and I'm putting holes through the corner and I'm hanging them up. So I've got, I think, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hooks on the side of things, and then I've got 3 hooks behind the door. So that's quite a lot of vertical storage, really. So hopefully, and then it's, I think, is it Clutterbug on YouTube, where you do like the tidying personalities. I think I'm a butterfly, and I kind of do need to be able to see what I've got. So that's what I'm hoping, that if I can rifle through the clear bags and I can see the various projects I've got on the go, rather than just shoving things away, that would be helpful. Look at that. So that's on. What time are we on? 21 minutes. Do you think we will get through the flower? I don't know. I think it gives you an impression of like the nature of how I put it together. I do watch other people who do slow stitch, and my projects don't look at all like their projects. I don't think that's a bad thing. And I don't know if I'm as earnest. I think is that the right word? I do take it seriously, and it's something I find immensely beneficial. But I kind of, yeah, I think or I might be more whimsical about it. And I certainly won't, like I'll use synthetic fabrics. This is all mostly, bar that doesn't feel synthetic, is synthetic. I don't like wearing synthetic clothes. I mean, that's why this top was a mistake. I was never going to wear it. And that was before all the hot flashes started. Hot flashes are good for not putting the heating on, aren't they, though? We haven't had the heating on yet. That's because, like, my teenager's room is a hot box. It's kind of quite warm anyway because of where it is. Miles will muffle up when he's working at his computer, and I generally do. But I've found myself, like today, I've got like a jumper and a shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt and a vest on, and I've just been taking the jumper off, on and off all day, depending on what the temperature is within me, not necessarily the room. The room's stayed pretty constant. But all the dehumidifiers are on because we live in our antiquated house that somebody in their not wisdom in the 1980s, I think it's 80s, it's 80s or it's early 90s, rendered the front of the house because they changed the windows. Really, it should be a bit of a conservation area because there's lots of nice Edwardian terraces around here, but I guess, I don't know, nobody thought about it at the time. And they put a different shape of window in, so they ruined the brickwork. And it's really, like, when I look at the other houses on either side, I'm like, oh, that's quite pretty brickwork. But there we go. So because it's got like this render and this plastic paint that covers it, the house doesn't breathe in the way that it was intended to breathe. Because we kind of like do sort of a plaster situation, like brick and plaster, and houses are supposed to naturally breathe, and then you don't get the condensation damp. Well, we don't have that. So to avoid the condensation damp, we have dehumidifiers on. So there's one in this room that I need to check to see if I need to empty it actually, because I've not done that in a couple of days. We have a really big one on our landing, that I will be emptying every day, even though it does 10 litres, just because we've started it and it takes a bit of time to get its equilibrium. Yeah, it's amazing how much water there is in the air when you can't really ventilate it. Now I've got a little thing there and that's going to annoy me. So I'm just going to tuck it under. I like the colour of this thread. I can't say it's the easiest thread to sew with, but sometimes that doesn't bother me if I like the thread. And I don't think it's strong enough to be like a machine thread. I don't know. I just like it. And I like the fact that it's kind of dark. It's like a dark brown, but it's not black, and I didn't want to use black. I wanted to use something a bit lighter. I've got a bag that I need to finish before Christmas. That's got an owl on the front, not an owl, a robin on the front of it. I actually started it last year when I went up to help with my mum, because my mum had some health problems last year. And so it needs to be finished off. So that will be good. So that's a slow stitch project that could be like November as well. I've still got my family journals to do. In fact, I may upload, well, I'm currently uploading a video from that on. I have 2 mobile phones that I use to make videos, and I do like a tandem thing, so I know that one's being uploaded. Yeah. How are we doing? Nearly. I'm going to give you another 4 minutes. Shall we see how far we can get? I don't even know if I'll manage to finish the flower. What do we think? Hopefully it should. I'm not going to rush at it though, because I want it to be pretty rather than all rushed. And then what I'll do is I will have this as my little micro break thing for tomorrow, I think. I've got a lot of notes to do and a lot of appointments. But I don't know, somehow, do you find this, if you're still working, like your Friday, things come together and you think, oh, I've got all that, and it just does come together, and it, it'll be fine. You probably won't even feel that arduous, it just will come together. So I think I might need, I think I know what I'm doing there. That'll be nice. That will be nice. I like making something from nothing. I've always been like this. From like being little, and I used to make things for like my dad mainly, actually, for his desk at work. I would get like packets of tea and cover them and make him a pen pot. I think he had about 5 on his desk. So I remember I used to make green ones. We must have got some green paper from somewhere. It was probably from the cellar at his office, because that's the place I used to go and get things. That's why junk journaling is very reminiscent for me, because some of the things that people use, like some of the vintagey stuff, like the file folders and stuff like that, that's the kind of craft supplies that I used to get out of the cellar at my dad's works. The local council never threw anything away. Odd times I got to go there. Oop! I think that might be my thing to go. So my needle is just, this isn't the strongest, but what I will do, I'll show you what I'll do and then we'll go. I'm doing the horrible thing of licking my thread, but you know what? It's up to you whether you do that or not. I'm just going to rethread it. and put it through like that, and then work it as far as I can, as far as safely as I can, and then I will just put a new thread on. Might even, no, we won't get down because I've got to go around that leaf. But that's what I'll do. I don't really worry about mistakes. For me, it's all part of the process. Don't worry about it at all. I am going to just pin that down though, just so that it doesn't get in the way. So it's Friday tomorrow here. It's like Thursday evening. I don't know what we're going to do for the weekend. I'd like to go and have a potter somewhere. I'm not sure where, but I would like to go and have a little potter. I don't know what the weather's going to be like for a tramp around a National Trust place or something. I don't know. Have to see. Okay, I'm nearly there. Oh, it's past 31. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to, or shall I just get rid of the thread? I don't want to make the videos too long. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I need some guidance, I think. Oh, I like it. So I will turn the camera off and I'll finish it off. I will put some French knots in, and then I will choose a button. Do you have a quick choice of buttons? I've got a few out. And then we'll go. So I kind of like that one because it's similar to one that's in the hat. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. But it doesn't have to be on a flower, it can just be in a place. So I'm thinking that one there. And that doesn't have to have a button. So I'm thinking if we have that one there and then another button in another place. That's too big. This is, we've got like the equivalent on the other side. Or do we put one of them? Put one of them there. Well, that could work. I don't know when that was all tied up, but I should imagine it was a few decades ago. Oh, that's different actually. And then I could put that there, and then we've got our three. We've got our little triangle. What do we think? I like that actually. We might not put any French knots on. If we don't put French knots on, I'll do lazy daisies, and then they're different. I could do some lazy daisies and put some French knots there on that. So there we go. It is our slow stitch witchy purse coming to fruition. It's coming together. I'm really, really happy with it. It's kind of, I think it's actually something I would look at and in a shop and think, oh, a lot of work's gone into that, and I wouldn't buy it because it probably would. And that's saying something. I'm normally very critical, but I actually really like this and think it probably could be something that was in a shop. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed spending some time slow stitching. I know I have. Please do the YouTubey things, the like, the comment, the subscribe. Help my little channel grow, particularly as I don't feel like I'm posting as often, and that does reflect in my analytics. But I'm not worrying about it. I'm just going to keep playing and keep talking to you guys. All right, everyone. I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.